Welcome back to Ben Rants, and when I was a kid, vampires were considered threatening. Yes, I had to get to this eventually. Not even a decade old, and it's already one of the biggest franchises of all time. The movies that the girls go crazy for, and causes the boys to go crazy upon viewing them. I'm of course talking about Twilight. Basically, the books were made to sell sex to girls, and the movies were made to sell sex to girls. How anyone can think to make movies based off these books is beyond me. But here they are, and here I am about to suffer through them. I remember freshman year in high school, we were offered extra credit by our English teacher to go see the first Twilight movie. Me, not think I had anything to lose, decided to go. And let me tell you, it wasn't worth extra credit. My memory is pretty vague, but I do remember lots of reasons why I hate this movie. So, how about I stop delaying my suffering and start ranting? So, the movie opens with a deer. Aww. Just as long as this deer doesn't start singing, it's got my vote for best character. However, the best character doesn't last long, as he's attacked and killed by our main protagonist. Wow, not even 3 minutes in, and I already hate the main character. Good job, movie. Next we see Bella, and we get a good glimpse as to why we all hate her, as she constantly complains about how boring her life is. Who is this, Miley Cyrus's big sister? Anyway, she's a new kid at school and everybody seems to love her. For some reason. And she eventually meets the Colons, who look like they're fresh off the Irish immigrant boat. I'm part Irish, so I can make jokes like that. Later, Edward and Bella sit next to each other and begin to quote-unquote bond. What? Oh, sorry, I got bored. However, Edward's becoming obsessed with Bella, and he can't stand it. So, he decides to switch classes, even though the semester is almost over. Yeah, stuff not making any sense is commonplace in this movie. So, Edward is stuck to deal with his obsession. To which I shout, just friggin' kill her! You'll do us all a favor! However, I'm not writing this movie, so that's not gonna happen. Edward and Bella continue to quote-unquote bond until this happens. Vampires. They have superhuman strength now. Anyway, after more boring scenes, Bella, does research and discovers what anyone with a brain cell could figure out. Edward is a vampire, and she falls in love with him. Okay, did you fall in love with him for the fact he saved your life, or the fact he's a vampire? It's never made clear. Anyway, Edward begins to bond more with Bella, and gosh dang it! If you can't stand her, why are you hanging out with her? I know you're obsessed with her, but if you don't want to be near her and she's tempting you, why are you still hanging out with her? That would be like if I watched Disney Channel for non-stop hours. Just stop hanging out with her, you freaking pale, bipolar, yellow-eyed freak! So anyway, after more crap I don't care about, Bella is sleeping one night, and Edward is there watching her. This is what millions of teen girls are falling head over heels for? Anyway, after more quote-unquote bonding, Edward tells Bella that he was watching her sleep. And this is where the movie ends. Bella calls Edward a creep and she never talks to him again. Bye! Aww, that's so sweet. What? He just flat out admitted to watching you sleep and you find that sweet? My gosh, Bella is a friggin' moron. A friggin' moronic moron. So Edward then puts Bella on his back and takes her on a ride in the woods. Vampires, they're now super fast. Edward also climbs up trees using his hands and made me see some of the worst special effects ever put on film. I died of laughter when I saw this at the theater, and all the girls around me told me to shut up because they were trying to enjoy it. What's there to enjoy? He's climbing up trees in the worst way I've ever seen people climb up trees. Anyway, Edward finally decides that it's time to show Bella who he really is, so he steps towards the sunlight. This is it, right? Vampires die when they step in the sunlight. This will be the end of the female eye candy franchise, right? He steps into the sunlight and he sparkles like diamonds. That is the single most stupid thing I have ever seen. Vampires are supposed to turn into dust upon stepping in the stinking sunlight, but not this teen fantasy piece of crap. It's like Stephanie Meyer didn't know what the heck a vampire was, so she just made up the vampire's abilities as she continued to write. I don't agree with that. I hate when people take something that's already established to the general public, but they decide to screw it all up. Changing a vampire into something like this would be like rearranging the letters in the friggin' alphabet. It was at this point in the movie where I felt this movie and the whole franchise was done. I couldn't take much more of it, so screw the plot. I'll just go over the key scenes that I think are stupid. So, after that molestation of my childhood, Bella confesses how madly in love she is with Elizabeth Taylor over there. I might kill you. I love you. I seriously might kill you. I still love you. I might do horrible things to you. I'll always love you. Hello, dummy! He's flat out telling you he'll friggin' hurt you, and all you can say is, I love you. Sweet mother of cauliflower. Bella makes Goofy look like Stephen Hawking. At least Goofy is a likable doofus. So, as Bella continues to show the audience she has the IQ of a walnut, Edward tells him that he eats animals, yet he claims he's a vegetarian. Animals. They're vegetables now, because Twilight says so. Gosh, this movie is stupid. So Edward takes Bella to meet his family, and I could care less. And they decide to take Bella out to do vampire things. So, what are these vampires gonna do now, huh? Huh? Play baseball. Yes, I said play baseball. I can feel my brain cells committing suicide right now. Anyway, while they're playing baseball, their fun is interrupted when the vampires these movies should be about show up. One of them goes after Bella, he captures her, Edward saves her, they live happily ever after, except for the boys in the audience who now will be walking around thinking animals are vegetables. And that's the first Twilight movie. Calling it crap would offend crap. The writing is bland, the characters are unlikable, it feels like idiots are writing it, and barely anything happens in 2 hours. I cannot begin to talk about how much boring scenes there are in this movie. I remember Bella and her father doing nothing for a majority of the movie, Bella and Edward most of the time doing nothing, and nobody doing anything for good chunks of the movie, which means that Twilight is crap. I glanced over the plots of the other movies, and more stupidity happens. Nothing else is going on. None of the characters go through any change. Bella is still a moron, Edward is still pale, Jacob is still shirtless, Bella is still a self-centered witch, and the deer at the beginning of the first movie is still the best character. Though, there are some fangirls out there that tried to feed me bullcrap that the books are better than the movies. How the heck would a book like this be written out? She read the book. She kept reading the book. She found out Edward was a vampire. Bella continued to read the book. Reading. Still reading. Screw this! I'm reading something good! Oh, Garfield, you saved me again. Another thing that annoys me about Twilight is the posters. Look. See how there's nothing happening in these posters? That represents that nothing is interesting is happening in these movies. Yeah, screw the Godzilla and Star Wars posters actually have something in them and actually let the viewers know that if they watch this there's going to be cool stuff happening. These are the kinds of movies we should be paying attention to. Teenagers just looking at you with dumb looks on their faces. So, despite all the flaws with these movies, why in the heck are they some of the highest grossing films in the past decade? Because girls like to stare at hot boys. We're wasting $50 million budgets that we could be using to save homeless people on things that girls could spend $10 on. All they gotta do is just go to a magazine store, find the magazine with a bunch of poster boys on it. That's all they gotta do if they want to stare at guys. I don't want any girl who likes Twilight movies to tell me they like them for the story. Bull to the crap. You like it because you girls are desperate, and you like to stare at shirtless boys. Admit it. Admit it! Don't believe me? Explain why there was a news story of when the first Twilight came out about a group of girls waiting 5 hours outside Rob Pattinson's house, and they screamed and went nuts when he only came out for 5 minutes. Also, what surprises me is how the heck girls could like these movies when they represent everything that women are fighting against. That is namely Bella. She is the stereotypical damsel in distress. She's an idiot. She makes girls look like self-centered brats, and she's just flat out one-dimensional. Also, these movies teach boys the following things. 1. Stalking girls is considered a turn-on for them. 2. It's okay for 200-year-olds to go out with 17-year-olds. 3. It's okay to threaten your woman. She'll still love you. And 4. If your girlfriend is a vegetarian, serve her deer meat. Anyway, Twilight series may suck, but think about it as a migraine. It's annoying and painful at first, but you can deal with it, and eventually it goes away. That's the Twilight series. Guys with girlfriends who like these movies, we're 2 movies away from the end of this franchise. Hang in there. Girls who hate Twilight, who have boyfriends that like Twilight, hang in there. And maybe you should take your boyfriend to some therapy. In times like this, I'm glad I'm single. Anyway, in the meantime, Team Edward or Team Jacob? Whose team are you on? Me? I'm staying old school. I'm Ben, and I'm signing out. I'm gonna go write a romantic novel.